What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
We might as well talk about it. Steelers 14, Ravens 28. We lost this game early. I think, was it 21? Did they score 21 before we'd scored? I'm trying to remember. I know we got both our touchdowns in the late. We got one late in the third, one late in the fourth, but we were never close in this game. It was disappointing, but not surprising.
To know I didn't watch this one because I've not watched any of them because not.
I stayed up all night watching this. The benefit of a Saturday game, the Saturday late game. I'm going to watch this all the way through, and I fucking did, even though I knew we were losing quite early on. We might turn it round.
Yeah, I know you have beaten the Ravens. Was that the first of the three you played?
Yeah, and. Generally, we're not going into it as in as bad form as we went into this one.
Yeah, if anything, Ravens have picked up since then, and the Steelers have. But that lost your last five.
Yeah, last four games. I mean, I wasn't surprised we lost those 4 games. I think I said on here that there's a chance that we wouldn't win another game this season. But it's been more a case of the performances in those games haven't been good. Yeah. When we lost games earlier in the season, we were competitive in those. So we were 10-3, and the 3 we were competitive in all of those. And in on another day, we might win, 2 of those. That wasn't likely. All of those defeats at the end of the season, we've deservedly lost.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's but at no point before the season or during it did I look at that Steelers roster and go, "This is one of the best 4 teams in the AFC." The achievement is the winning record, getting in the playoffs. But if you want to press on, are the front office going to get a difference maker in on free agency? Are they going to do something in the draft and trade up, trying to get a quarterback? Are they going to look at trading in a quarterback? No, they're not.
There was a quote I saw: the Pittsburgh Steelers are always good enough to make the playoffs each year, but never good enough to win. And they're never bad enough to be able to draft a top QB, and never good enough to win without one.
We pick in the early 20s every single year.
Yeah. Something's got to change.
Yeah, this is what nothing ever does. That's a problem. That's why I brought it up at the start.
Yeah, it's the way they're run as well. They're not going to suddenly change the way they run because they're going to look at it and go, "We get in the playoffs every year. We have a winning record every year. We're doing loads of things right." But they're not addressing the things that they're not doing right by thinking that way. All right, the O-line's a work in progress. It's 4 of the O-line are in their first or second year. So, you're going to have to see.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Center's been good this year.
Always known for a good center, Steelers as well.
Yeah, so hopefully the O-line will improve. We're going to need... Najee Harris is probably going to go. I don't think we're going to offer him another contract, so...
Big loss.
There's another change that needs to be done there. Well, the option's there for us to have him on his 5th-year option, and we haven't taken it. So either they've got a plan or they just don't want to pay him.
Okay. This is what I usually ask Edgy. You're the GM there. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't at Steelers, because you could have a GM that went straight in there and then they roll the dice. They try to make big moves in the free agency, not the free market. That's something completely different. In the free agency, you do something different with your drafts. You gamble and go up the order. It doesn't work. You don't get into playoffs. Massive failure then, because you're not going to playoffs. But at least someone's had a go to do it. So you're the GM. What would you do? Don't stick with this bullshit that Steelers do every single year. Go out there, as I said on draft day, make a splash. What would you do?
I'd like us to not take either a defensive player or offensive lineman first in the draft for a start.
Yeah,
I'd like us to take a skill player, which never happens.
At what position?
There's not going to be a quarterback in the draft at 20.
No.
Go
out and trade for one, would you?
We're gonna. I think we have to. I've said before I'd have given Fields more of a go. I think he's 26. You can still.
Yeah, that's.
He's got all the assets there. If you can mold him into a top quarterback, but I don't think that'll happen either. I think he might be there next year, but I don't think he'll necessarily be the starter. But
so you're not going to get
someone's going to come in.
Yeah,
there'll be a trade at quarterback, I think, or free agent.
ESPN mock draft have got you picking number 21 for a wide receiver.
We do need another wide receiver, but I think it's more likely we'll pick up a wide receiver free agency. That tends to be where we get them from. But we do draft wide receivers really well. We draft them like a real good one in like the 3rd or 4th round, and then we end up trading them for a much better value pick. So we do, but we never draft them.
Pick a defensive player with.
But yeah, we never draft them in the 1st round. We're going to need a running back from somewhere. We need even if it's just like a 1-year wonder running back to come in.
Nadji out of contract.
No, he's on his rookie contract, and we haven't taken in the 5th year option on it, so he can leave on free agency essentially. So there's lots of work that needs to be done. Otherwise, we're just going to go through. Notice I haven't said much about the defense there, which is fine.
So your not head coach, your GM is how long has your GM been there? We all know what the head coach situation's like at the Steelers. They very rarely change them. What about the GM? Has he been there forever?
The family, the Rooneys.
So he's GM as well.
They're the same as from the start of the. I think they've been the same family since the start of the NFL. We've had 3 coaches since the start of the NFL.
But it's great for stability and everything. But you do think, they just because it's easier to do it, or they don't go out. And Mike Tomlin, when he come in, it was a great pick because obviously I said in his 2nd year he goes out and wins a Super Bowl. He's gone into playoffs. Fantastic record. There'd probably be no coach ever to do that, ever to reach, a winning record for every season and what he's done. But I wonder if they ever sit down around the table and think, he's had his goal. We've not won a playoff game since 2000 and whatever, 5, 8, whatever. We just need
16, I think.
Was it 16? We just need to go and do that one step now. We need to get back onto not just a playoff game. We need to get into conference games, divisional games.
I think it's the offensive side of it. I reckon we need a good OC in.
Yeah.
Tomlin's a defense guy. You could probably look at maybe like 1 or 2 who you could improve on the defense, but on the whole, I think it's a fucking great defense we've got there. They haven't let us down this year.
No, absolutely not. No.
But there's so many holes on offense, and also not convinced Arthur Smith's a great OC for us.
No, I agree. I don't like him at all, no.
So I'd move on from him. That'd be another change I'd make.
What influence?
Maybe bring in a young OC. See what he's got. Look what's happened at Detroit by bringing in a young OC and just seeing what he does.
That's what happened with us on defense, because we had Jack Del Rio, who's been around the houses. He was in with Ron Rivera, and it's like,
of course he did the Macarena, of course, didn't he?
Of course he did, yes, every week. And you think, we've seen this system so many times. Everyone's seen the system so many times. Everyone knows how to play against this system, and I've done for the last 5 years. We come in with Joe Witt, and Dan Quinn's a defensive guy, and it's apart from the first couple of games this season, but obviously it takes time to implement. And it looks so much better and it's just freshening it up, having new guys come in. Yeah, you need someone exciting, especially offense. You don't want anyone on offense coordinator to come in and say, well, what think first we're going to do? We're going to script like they do. They script the first 12, 13 players, and you don't want them to come in and just run 8 times out of that 13. You know, with good teams now, they are running maybe 4 or 5 times and throwing the rest. I think that's what Pittsburgh are suffering from. They just that spark on offense. They always try to ground it out on defense.
You could say it's been missing on offense since we had the 3 Bs.
Yeah,
Bell, Brown,
Bobby,
and Ben.
Or Bobby Betwell, Buckaroo.
Bollocks, yeah. But you look at it, that was the last team who won the playoff game.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, Le'Veon Bell thought the grass was greener and fucked off.
Yeah. Worked well for
Brown went mad, and Big Ben fell apart.
Yeah.
So
my question would be now, because of Mike Tomlin's been there since Noah built the Ark, what influence, if any, do you think he has on the GM? Or do you think they just start listening and say, you will do what you told?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's not that much known about the inner workings of the Rooney families.
No, there's not. It's weird for Pittsburgh because nothing ever comes to light on anyone falling out with Pittsburgh, any disagreements anywhere. We don't know if their coach has got any say in the GM role, where we knew with Belichick, he did with the Patriots. We know that Riviera did with Washington, and it happened with Indianapolis Colts. It happened quite a lot of places where the head coach will have some degree of input on what sort of player. And I don't know with Pittsburgh. I do not know what, even after all these years, what Mike Tomlin, do you think there'd be some sort of negotiation or talking that saying, this is what I want? But I don't know his influence, even after all these years, what he has influence over the GM. I don't know.
No,
Pittsburgh.
The Rooneys, I think, look at it like it's an traditional old family business, and they don't want to give away the secrets of the business, and it seems to be like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But also, it comes across as being quite penny pinching as well.
Yeah.
What you get is every year you'll look at the teams who have gone way over on their salary cap and stuff like that and need to save money. It's never us, because we never seem to give out those huge deals to anyone.
Do you think that costs you really? Because every team in the NFL are looking for their quarterback. Everyone is. And luckily enough, there's probably about 10, 11 teams, maybe 12 teams out there that have got their guy. Pittsburgh's not one of them.
If Russell Wilson was on the market as a old Wilson, if he was on the market as a quarterback last summer when we brought him in, but Denver weren't covering his wages, he wouldn't have been at the Steelers this year. The only reason he was there was because it was going to be a free hit on him. So
you signed him for economics more than anything.
Yeah, if we don't consider him a good enough quarterback
to pay
normally,
for,
why is he suddenly a good enough quarterback just because he's cheap? I don't think
don't get me wrong, three quarters of the NFL teams would kill to have that sort of setup and record. The Giants to have fucking 10 winning seasons and make the playoff.
But since we last won the Super Bowl, the Giants have won the Super Bowl. So you could say, all right, they fluctuate a lot, mainly towards the bottom, but a bit like Brian. Is it worth it for those occasional highs to be mostly rubbish?
That was the question that I said before. Wasn't it? You can bet the farm for a year of glory, possibly 2, and then have a generation of mediocrity.
And so the Rooneys and the front office will look at it and go, "We've won 6 Super Bowls," and you go, "Yeah, I wasn't alive for 4 of them," and it was. And there's going to be a lot of young Steelers fans who weren't alive for any of them.
Yeah.
So at what point do you go, we may have to have a rethink on the way this is done? Chances are it'll be when old man Rooney dies.
I'm going to say, what's the Steelers fans think of all this? Like, do they think they need a change or?
I think a lot of them. They're not split on certain things. Like they love Mike Tomlin, they love the defense, all that kind of thing. I think they've gone off on Wilson. Even the ones who were defending him for a while.
Yeah,
a lot of them aren't convinced with Justin Fields is the answer either. So it's kind of split, but I don't reckon there'd be a lot of complaining if they did change things up a bit.
Baltimore, so we can talk about.
Sorry, we ran out of time to talk about Baltimore.